Welcome back once again to Thoughts for Young Men. We're still in Chapter 2, which is entitled Dangers Facing Young Men. And we're looking at the fifth danger. And it goes like this. Another danger to young men is the fear of others' opinions. The fear of man does indeed bring a snare. It is terrible to observe the power which it has over most minds, and especially over the minds of the young. Few seem to have any opinions of their own, or to think for themselves. Like dead fish, they go with the stream and tide. What others might think right, they think right. And what others call wrong, they call wrong too. There are not many original thinkers in the world. Most men are like sheep. They follow a leader. If it was the fashion of the day to be Roman Catholics, they would be Roman Catholics. If it is to be Islamic, they would be Islamic. They dread the idea of going against the current of times. In a word, the opinion of the day becomes their religion, their creed, their Bible, and their God. The thought, "What will my friends say or think of me?" nips many a good inclination in the bud. The fear of being looked upon, laughed at, or ridiculed prevents many a good habit from being taken up. There are Bibles that would be read this very day, if the owners dared. They know they ought to read them, but they are afraid. What will the people say? There are knees that would be bent in prayer this very night, but the fear of man forbids it. What would my wife, my brother, my friend, my companion say if they saw me praying? Oh, what wretched slavery this is, and yet how common. I feared the people, said Saul to Samuel, and so he transgressed the commandment of the Lord. I am afraid of the Jews, said Zedekiah, the graceless king of Judah, and so he disobeyed the advice which Jeremiah gave him. Herod was afraid of what his guests would think of him, so he did that which made him exceedingly sorry. He beheaded John the Baptist. Pilate feared offending the Jews, so he did that which he knew in his conscience was unjust. He delivered up Jesus to be crucified. If this is not slavery, tell me, what is? Young man, I want you to be free from this bondage. I want you to care nothing for man's opinion when the path of duty is clear. Believe me, it is a great thing to be able to say no. Here was good King Jehoshaphat's weak point. He was too easy and soft in his dealings with Ahab, and thus came many of his troubles. Learn to say no. Let not the fear of seeming ill-natured make you unable to resist. When sinners entice you, be able to decidedly say, I will not consent. Consider how unreasonable this fear of man is. How short-lived is man's enmity, and how little harm he can do you. Who are you that you should be afraid of a man who will die, and of the son of a man who will be made like grass? And you forget the Lord your Maker, who stretched out the heavens and laid the foundations of the earth? And how thankless is this fear! None will really think better of you for it. The world always respects those who most act boldly for God. Oh, break these bonds and cast these chains from you. Never be ashamed of letting men see that you want to go to heaven. Think it no disgrace to show yourself to be a servant of God. Never be afraid of doing what is right. Remember the words of the Lord Jesus. Do not fear those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul, but rather fear him who is able to destroy both soul and body in hell. Only try to please God, and he can soon make others pleased with you. When a man's ways please the Lord, he makes even his enemies to be at peace with him. Young man, be of good courage. Care not for what the world says or thinks. You will not be with the world always. Can man save your soul? No. Will man be your judge in the great and dreadful day of account? No. Can man give you a good conscience in life, a good hope in death, a good answer in the morning of resurrection? No, no, no. Man can do nothing of the sort. Then fear not the reproach of men, neither be afraid of their revilings. For the moth shall eat them up like a garment, and the worm shall eat them like wool. Call to your mind the saying of the good Colonel Gardner, I fear God, and therefore I have none else to fear. Go and be like him. Such are the warnings I give you. Lay them to heart. They are worth thinking over. I am much mistaken if they are not greatly needed. The Lord grant that they may not have been given to you in vain.